Hi everybody, it's Kathy, and I'm here with my 7th video in my series Quick and Easy, and today I'm going to show you how to make these cute little banners that can be used as ephemera in your journal, or you don't have to make a banner. You can make these cute little ephemera and possibly put them on a safety pin and put them in your journals. But today I'm going to do the banner. So let me tell you what you'll need. You'll need some cardstock. I'm using plain cardstock. And you'll need just about one 8x10 piece of it. And then you'll need a piece of ribbon. I'm going to have enough little banner pieces to spell out the word love. So my ribbon is about, it's about 14 inches, 15 inches long. And then you need some glue, a 1-inch, a half-inch circle punch, if you choose to make the little edging at the bottom. You need some distress ink. You'll need some other colored cardstock to make the hearts and the little bottom piece. You'll need the scraps from the cardstock to make your little tags, and some twine, and a hole punch to make the holes for the tag, and some glue, of course. I also used some lace here, and I also used a stamp with letter stamps with ink, and scissors. And if you want to use a cutter, that would be great. Okay, to start off with, I'm going to show you what you need to cut for the banner piece. So stick around if you want to join me. And let's get started. First of all, I've already cut my banner pieces, and they are measured 2 by 4 inches. So it's 2 inches across by 4 inches high. And depending on the number of letters, I'm spelling out love. So I have O-V-E. I needed 3 more pieces. So that's what I cut, is 3 more pieces. Okay. So let's start with the first one. I want to make sure my banners, that the pieces are cut all at the same, are folded all at the same height. So I'm going to measure them. I'm bending down about 3/4 of an inch. Let me make sure. That's not right. Take this off. Just like that. And while I'm here, I'm going to measure the other ones. Let me tell you exactly how much that is. It is 3/4 of an inch. So you have a fold line at 3/4 of an inch. So at 3 1/4 inch up, you have a fold line. And I'm going to do my other 3 at the same time. I just lay them on top of each other like that. Make sure it's the right width and height as the others. Okay, come on. I want to put this back in. Well, heck, let me go on this side. There we go, I think. I didn't intend on taking it out, so it might be that I'm going to have to fiddle with it later. Okay, I'll fiddle with that later. Let's continue on these. So the next thing I want to do is on the front. I'm going to make the edging that goes along the bottom. So I'm going to need my 1/2 inch hole punch or circle punch, and I'm going to cut out some circles. And I have some scraps here that I've already done. And I need about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for each tag thing I'm doing. 4, 5. One, 2, 3. So that's 8. 1, 2, 3. We dump these out. I already have some cut. I have a few more of these. 4, 5, 6. So I have 6. 3 is 18, 19, 20, 20. I want a few red ones, or some with red in it. And a few more. So I just pulled a bunch of scraps to make these. And I'm going to save the red one in this one, and I'm going to put the other ones aside for now. And then I'm going to dump these out, and I'm going to make a line similar to what I did. I have a video on this, but these were too big. And these I sewed, but you can just glue them. I'm making a smaller one for the edging on this, smaller circles. And I just take my glue. And it's good if you use double-sided cardstock. It gives you more choices. A little red one. And actually this I only needed 5 for. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to put some glue along the bottom here. I'm just going to glue this on. Just to give it a pretty colors on the edge. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make two more sets to go on my other ones. So you can almost mass produce this. It's quite easy and kind of fun. This is the kind of thing, if you craft in front of the TV, you can do this, you know, while you're watching TV and have them, you know, create a long line of them. Let's see. Oops. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put these on the bottom of this one. While I have it. And one last one. I hope you all are doing well and are keeping yourself healthy. I'm down in Florida, and we still are hanging in there, although our infection rate is not going so well here. Of course, they've opened some of the beaches regardless. They've done some crazy things here, but that's talk for another time, right? Okay, and that's going to go on the bottom of the third one. And if you want, you can trim the edges like I did here. And I probably wouldn't do that if I hadn't already done it on the first one, because I want them to look the same. So I'm going to cut the edges just on the sides and even it up. Okay. So we're done with the circles. Next thing I want to do is ink up the sides of this. All the way, even the circles. I'm not going to worry about the back. Okay, the next thing I want to do is take a scrap and put it along the back as I did up here while we're here. And I'll use a green stripe. I'm just using scraps. Take a green one. A brown one. You'll see, whoops, I don't know if that was long enough. It's fine. And you'll see that I'm not really fussy on this part. It's pretty much hidden by everything else, although I did cut that a little big. Okay, I'm going to ink these up. I don't always ink everything. I generally like the way inking looks. Sometimes I use the color black soot, which I like. I have a tendency to use that on lighter colors. Okie doke. Just gonna glue these across the top just to give it a little interest up here. A little down below it a little bit. Okay, next we're going to add some lace. I already cut my pieces of lace and I'm going to add some ink to them. Although it appears to be just a crime. This is such beautiful lace. But that's what we do. Let me cut off this part. Okay. Alrighty. And on these, I'm simply going to put it here. Here. Oh, maybe that'll look kind of pretty if I put that in down. And all I'm going to do is glue those down. I use regular glue for this particular lace because it's not, the cheap laces are hard, don't take glue well. They're made out of, I think, petroleum. But the better lace takes glue well because it typically has cotton in it. I don't know if I want this or this. Yeah, it looks a little different. I'll use this. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut the heart pocket. And in order to do those, I'm going to do 2 red ones and then one with an apron. And in order to do it correctly, you're going to have to fold it in half, fold your paper in half, noting where the fold line is, then fold it down because you're going to need to cut 2 hearts at one time. Make sure your folds match up. And then all I do, remember in grade school, all I do is cut my heart. And in this case, it's hearts. And I have 2 identical hearts. Okay? What I'm going to do with one of the hearts is I'm going to cut it right below the little point there. So just like that. So what I end up with is like half of a heart. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it right over the other heart. But first, I'm going to ink it up. And I'm going to ink up both of them. And while we're here, I'm going to cut the others. Fold it in half, and then fold it down. Making sure my folds line up, and then just cut my hearts. And then I have 2 hearts. Cut one just below the point so that it matches up. And I'm going to cut the last one. I think this is such cute paper. I got it at Tuesday Morning. A while ago, though. But they always have a pretty good selection of... Now this is tricky because this has directional paper. So we're just going to have to go with it since I have it here already. But I would probably suggest... for future, not using directional paper, because what's going to happen is it's going to be pretty evident that you're using, you know, this kind of hides the pocket, but when you use directional paper, it doesn't hide it so well. And I think I made this heart a little too big anyway. So I'm going to cut another heart from this, and then I don't have the problem of directional paper, right? Okay. Cut that a little smaller. There we go. And that'll be fine. And cut it below the point. Okay, and now I'm going to ink the last two up. And I have ruined many a heart, so don't despair if you're not a good heart cutter. Don't worry about it. Just keep practicing. If you have to draw it out, that's okay. And you might want to make a template. Okay, so on this one, we're just going to put glue right along the sides, down to the point, and glue it on top of the bottom heart, just like that. Then this one, we're going to do the same thing, but we're not going to go up as high. We're going to glue it right here and here. And this is going to go right there so that your lace is showing. That was a little large as well. Let me see if I can make it a little smaller. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, that's a little better. It was going over the edge and it was bugging me. So let's glue it again. And glue it there. And I glue it so that it's going over the bottom edge of the strip that I put across. And let's do this one. And we're putting that on top. And then this one. And one last one. Okay, so I have 3 of them. Now what I want to do is I want to make a little tag to go in the front pocket and then a larger tag to go in the back pocket. The little tag measures you're going to have to cut out 1 1/4 inches, and it's by 3 1/4 inches. 1 1/4 inches by 3 1/4 inches. Now, if you know me, I am definitely not a measurer, but I have a little piece cut here already. This is for the little one. And then, as usual for my tags, I bend them over without creasing them. Cut the corners. Let me cut that a little more. Like that. Add a hole. That's one. These are the littler ones. And I'm not very fussy. I just want to make sure the little ones are smaller than the big ones. That's all I'm doing. Let me try to even this up. It's another one. That's a little bigger. And another one. Oops, forgot the hole. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3. Now let's make the big ones while we're here. And the big ones are about 1 inch by 1 3/4 inch. So we're going 1 inch, so that means we can cut this just about in half. Actually, I'm going to use this as a template. That makes sense, right? One inch. Okay, 1 inch by 1 3/4. 1 inch by 1 3/4. Two. And I need one more. Okay. And the same thing here. I'm going to bend them without trying not to crease them too much. Although with this cardstock, that's hard to do. Cut the edges. That gives us 1. 2. 3. And let's cut some holes. And one more. Okay. Now what I like to do with these little ones is I like to add a little piece of paper on them to make them pretty. So I'm just going to add it. I'm adding it up to the little line before it starts to become diagonal. That's 1. Brown one. Let me use this as a template. Oh, they might be different sizes. 2. And let's go with a striped one. Okie doke. So all I'm gonna do is put some glue on. No big fuss. Oh, this one came out much too long. Okay, and then let me ink these up a bit. And while we're here, I have the ink out. Let's ink these up. These are the larger ones. Probably should do both sides on these because I'm going to pull these out. I try to remember to do both sides when I'm inking, but quite often I forget. These are important because they'll be pulled out. Okay, next I want to add some string to these, some twine. I have some right here. Excuse my brown inky fingers. This is all coming apart. That's okay. We'll stick this one in here. And this one's next. And whoops. I can't believe my dogs are quiet because usually when I start filming, I probably shouldn't say anything. This is not working. Coming apart, so let me go in and just tie a knot, which is so much easier sometimes. And I'll tie a double knot. And trim it off. Okie doke, that's gonna go in there. Next, what we need to do is let's go ahead and put the string on this while I have it out. It worked, kind of. My little fat chubby fingers. That's one. Oh, that was a crooked hole on this one. I love paper craft. It's very forgiving. And last, of course, this one's not working. Okay. And this one. Okay, so we have 3. Now we're going to stamp the rest of the letters on here. We have L. And you could stamp a sentiment, or you wouldn't have to stamp anything. I just thought I would. So we have an O. Then we have a V. And then we have an E. Okie doke. And these are going to go in the top part of the heart pocket. And I forgot to tell you, you probably should put your letter up towards the top of the tag. V, E. Okay, now what I'm going to do on the first one I made is, remember I was having a hard time with my ribbon going back through. So I'm going to try one more time to get my ribbon to go through. If not, I'm going to have to take it apart. Let me see if I can. Come on, ribbon. I know you can do it. There we go. Got it. Little bugger. Okay. Let me go back and, woo! Came flying in. Glue this down. Then this. I'm going to turn all of this over, and these get glued in place. You can still take the ribbon. I left enough space so that the ribbon should go freely in and out. But sometimes it overlaps. Right on the very edge. And last but not least, okay, whoops, that didn't glue. That didn't glue down enough. This cardstock doesn't take to glue very well. Have to use a lot. Okay. Stick this back in. Okie doke. There's your banner for your journal. And the reason I did this one, let me show you the one I did using my machine. Oh, I don't think I can get it off. One minute. And I had made this earlier. I think I showed it on a group. This was one I did out of fabric. But I know a lot of people don't have a sewing machine, or maybe. So I wanted to make one that was just as cute out of paper. Anyway, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel if you'd like. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Stay healthy. Bye.